Perfect. Sure. So a few things that I have in mind. It's more in terms of I haven't experienced change management from a consulting perspective, or had people talk about it from a consulting perspective. So I want to know how is it as a career option in Canada? How is it progressing? What's the scope for me? I mean, in change management per se.
Yeah, I would like to answer this question in two parts, and I try my best to answer this question. So consulting in Canada works a little more differently than it works in India. So Accenture consulting, to be very specific, I think has a lot of travel with it. So you would also have to juggle your personal priorities with, I mean, everyone would have their own priorities, right? So sometimes you would have a client probably in the same city or the same area that you live in. And sometimes it just happens that it may be in some other part of the country. As you might know, Canada has 3 to 4 different time zones, right? So you would have to travel across time zones. And comparing Canadian economy to the US economy is much more larger than the Canadian economy. And it ends up happening that you would be working, you would also be working in USA for your big chunk of time, right? And coming to the next part of the question about the change management as a field to be working in. So change management, I feel it's a little bit of a niche when you compare to, let's say, management consulting or let's say even tech consulting, right? So tech consulting has its own plethora of options that you can pick from, and change management is sort of niche. So in Canada, what happens is if you get into any of the consulting firms for change management, it's great because the consulting companies will be bringing you more and more projects, and you would just be working on it. Also, you'd probably be doing a little bit of business development. But if you don't get into consulting, then the other option for you to get into change management here is there are a lot of contract jobs that you can do. As you might know, like the change management is mostly like project based, right? So once you're done with your project, there is not much there is for you to do in that organization. So you have to move on. So that's the second part that you may have to explore. And with change management, as you were also touching upon during your interview, there's a lot of process improvement opportunities as well. I think it comes hand in hand, that process improvement and change management in many of the organizations. And many of the organizations